Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's tutorial. In today's tutorial, we are going to look at how to modify the nature of our equation in Excel. Sometimes you may model an equation and the equation has specifications in which Excel itself cannot take into considerations. Maybe your equation is obliged to start from the origin and the best straight line determined by Excel is not the one starting from the origin. So you need to be the one to do the modification to notify Excel to consider such a parameter. So as such, we are going to proceed by using random variables or random values to proceed with that. So like I was saying in the previous tutorial, we plot our information and we plot in such a way that the first column takes the x value or the horizontal values, while the second column takes the vertical value. However, we can still display this. So I'm taking random values here. Okay. So once I'm done with these random values on the x-axis, I'll go to the y-axis. I'm doing the same, so much so that I have something like this. Okay. Once I'm done here, I still plot back my curve. As usual, I plot back my curve. So I'll go to my insert. Once on insert, I choose random points. So I want to add my graph as usual to make it bigger. Okay. Once my graph is added to my desired specification, what I have to do is I click on the plus and I add tendency curve. Once on tendency curve, I will need to add equally the axis title. So I suppose I was plotting a graph of distance against, let's say, time. It means my x-axis is the time axis and my y-axis is the distance axis. So at this junction, we need still to make the equation looks better. So I'll come to my style, graphic style, then I'll choose this second one. Once I choose this one, the third one, once I choose it, I'll come now to color and I'll choose my better color. So I'll prefer black. So I'm done with that. Once that is done, I will come on top here. I will come on top here. I want this curve to be on an actual graph paper, so that it can present to me all the lines and their arrangement. So I'll take this one. Okay. Once I take that, you can see here now that my curve is on an actual graph paper, and in this case it starts from the origin as I may expect. So once I'm done with this one, I will need to modify specifications. When you look here, you realize that the straight line ends exactly on the plotted point. The same for this. So to modify that, I will simply come to this graphic zone. I will right click on this graphic zone. Sorry. Let's first of all add the equation of the curve. So we come to any of the plotted points, we right click. Once we right click, we come to add tendency curve. Once we click on that, we are going to scroll now right down, and we choose here show equation on graph. Once the equation shows on the graph, we will need now to modify a few things. The first one will be to cause this line to extend beyond this plotted point, and this other line to extend beyond this other plotted point. So in order to do so, I will need to come now on top here where I have the name of the tendency curve, where I have the name of the tendency curve, the nature of the tendency curve here. Here I have nature of the tendency curve. Here I see it on automatic. So I'll customize it. I'll go to customize. Once I'm on customize, it will highlight prevision so that I have before and after. So on my, let me shift a little. Okay, on my before now, I want my curve to shift 0.4 units after the curve, after the last point, and 0.4 units after the last point. Okay, once I do this, my curve now shifts. It goes beyond. So it goes beyond the plotted point, and the same here. At the same time, I might not want my curve to pass exactly at the origin. Maybe in a different case, the curve passed through a different point, and it was supposed to pass maybe somewhere else. So in this case, I may be expecting, I may wanted my curve to pass through the point 0.02. So what I will do is I'll come to define intercept. I'll click on define intercept. So I'll define my intercept myself. So I'll put my intercept on 0.02, for example. Okay, now you see that my intercept at this junction, you see that my intercept has changed to 0.02, and at the same time on the graph it has shifted. My graph is not more touching at the point 00, but at the point 0.02. So when you have this, this is the most optimal way you can modify your curve. Now when you are done with this, you normally need to transfer this information to your Word document. Definitely you are typing in words. If you are typing in words, you understand that at this junction, if you copy this diagram straight into Word, you might think that it won't work, but of course it will work. So what you simply do is come to the graphic zone, right click on the graphic zone, you right click on the graphic zone, you choose copy. You are now going to open your Word document. When you open your Word document, what I advise is you go to view, click on view, go to grid, click on grid. At this junction now you can paste. Just do Ctrl V and your graph appears here. When your graph appears here, you have now the tendency, you have the ability to modify your graph even at this junction in Word. So when you have your graph at this junction, what you have to do is you make your graph scaled. You come here, you click, and you pull. In this case, you are now able to control from the size of the other lines, from the grid lines in your paper on your sheet. Okay, so at this junction I see that my grid lines and my graph paper are matching. So what I could do is I'll change now the title, so that my title becomes graph of distance against time. Graph of distance against time. This is against time. Okay, so let's put this capitalized. So graph of distance against time, that is the title of my graph. And now you see it on an actual graph paper. While on an actual graph paper, I can still decide to make it to cover a bigger portion of my page. So I will do it like this. Okay, so I will decide to do it like this, and I can see now that I am almost good to go. Okay, so once here, this is now our plot on an actual graph paper. So this is how we could do it. So you see that in this case we have the possibility to modify now our information in the Excel sheet, because right here we could still modify the information. Let's look at the colors. For example, you can see change the color of your graph. If you are not good with that one, you could still change it, and maybe let's take another color like this. You see that we have a different color. Okay, so here we are using a multiple color, meaning that the graph, the straight line has a different color from the writing, unlike the monochrome where everything has the same color. So we generally choose monochrome to avoid over exaggeration of colors. So at this junction, we can now close the dialog box, and then we save our information. We print our information by pressing down on the Control and P button at the same time. When you press the Control and P button at the same time, the page will open up, and you should notice that when this page opens up, the grid lines are not to be printed. The grid lines are not to be printed. They are just there to guide you. So when it opens up, your page now comes like this, and you can actually print now your information. You can just print now. You choose now print, and once a document comes up, you are going to choose the location to save it. Once it comes up, you are going to choose maybe graph of this distance, graph of distance against time. So you just save it like that. When you save it like that, your document will print itself out in a PDF format. Remember, you are printing in a PDF format because generally when you take your document to printers, different printers will have their different configurations, and if your document is not mostly in the PDF format, you are the nature of your document could be tampered with so much so that you end up printing something different from what you wanted. So after having printed my document, I'll simply open it here, and I will look at it. Graph of distance against time. This is my graph. So I'll open my graph, and I will verify to see that it is okay. So it is absolutely okay. So with this now, we can always modify our information the way we want. So we see that this one now is on an actual graph paper. So this is how we can generally proceed with this. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel, for there will be many more updates